So, hi. Who has ever recorded an entire episode of something without recording it? Well, that just happened. So, here we go again. This is the Share My Process pre-podcast series of the Productive Introvert Community Podcast. So, and in the pre-podcast series, it is not always pretty, and sometimes you forget to hit record. So I'm sharing my process around what it takes to build a podcast and in 6 weeks. So we are kind of at the halfway mark now. And I was thinking about how I said that I only did a little bit of research and that I don't know anything about audio, which is all true. That's how I feel about it. And at the same time, if I kind of take a step back and I look at it a little bit more, try to look at it more objectively, I have probably done a lot of research already. And a lot of my indie friends kind of recognize that we tend to underplay things, right? When we feel like, oh, we've only done a little bit and I don't know much about that. Sometimes you're halfway to being an expert at that stage. And in my case, like I mentioned before, the first seed for the podcast was planted like over a year ago. And it kind of feels like it's taken me a lot of time to get to this stage. But at the same time, a lot has already happened in the meantime. And I thought I want to share that with you today. And I'm wondering if you recognize this in your own life, okay? Because sometimes when we feel like we're not moving or that we're stuck, we're actually already taking actions and exploring, even if it's really gently. And it's okay to gently explore. So about a year ago, or maybe it's even, I think it's maybe even closer to 2 years. It's around the time when I started my business. I just thought about podcasts, just as something general. It's like, I like listening to podcasts. So that might be something that I do somewhere down the line. I liked it as a medium, but that's as far as I thought about it, and I put it on the back burner. And I started exploring other things like, I think I explored, well, I did my mailing list that I still email to every week. And I hosted a Facebook group for about a year. So those were all different things that I was exploring. And I didn't really think about the podcast anymore. But I did start to kind of expose myself to it. I started following other podcasts that were by and for introverts. Like, okay, that's interesting. I want to hear other people's point of views and kind of get those examples of people doing it. Because, sometimes you feel like, oh, I can't do that. That doesn't fit my personality. But in reality, you have to fit the thing to your personality. Okay, you can do it any way you want. And that's the beauty of it. So getting those examples kind of helped me wrap my mind around it. I also got to see Anna Parker Naples speak, and she's very well known in podcasts. She has a, very particular style. Everyone has their own style, and you kind of like someone's style or you don't. But it was good to kind of hear from someone who has so much experience with podcasts, and she also launches podcasts for other people. So she has it from that perspective. And it was interesting to kind of see that as well, just as an example. And I started following her podcast. How does she do it? How does that person do it? Around the same time, I was getting invites to appear on other people's podcasts. And that was really great because it was really nice to also have that experience of just having a conversation with someone. So I was on the Making Money Online podcast with Lisa Johnson. I was on Social Confos with Diego Amarali and Jean-Luc. And I was on the Heart-Centered Visionaries podcast, or actually it's a YouTube channel with Hannah Dudley. So a lot of really lovely experiences showing me that, oh, a podcast, it doesn't have to be this big, scary thing. And I remember the day that I thought, oh, I could do that. Randomly one day, one morning when I was going through my morning warm-up process, like I'm basically doing with you right now, I suddenly had that sense that I could. And it was the first time that I felt that confidence of it being just something that I did alongside other things. And it's at that point that I started shifting and started taking more intentional action towards it. But if I'm honest, the process started much, much earlier. And I think it wasn't until I talked with two really lovely people from my community, Vicky and Jessica, thank you. you two kind of gave me that little push, that kick in the V to take this step to also do video, because that felt like it was something that was quite scary, even though it's not that much different from doing audio. But it has to kind of fit in the picture. And for me, because I hosted a Facebook group for so long and I was also going live in the group, it wasn't a huge step for me to include video. And I kind of just needed to hear that and kind of get that reassurance from those lovely ladies to take that step. So all of those things together is what kind of pushed this along to now. And I wonder if you recognize that in your own process. That for a long time, it feels like nothing's happening and maybe you're thinking about something. Sometimes we feel we overthink it, right? Because I was thinking about this for well over a year. And when we're thinking about something, we feel like we're not taking action. But we are actually already gently exploring. And my uncle, who was a coach in the sports area for a long time, he said something to me that really, really stuck with me. And he said that even when I'm thinking, I am taking action that's invisible to someone else. And I found that really, really powerful. Because a lot of introverts I know, we feel like we definitely overthink things and that we get stuck in the thinking process. We kind of want to skip over that and be like, let's just do the thing. But realize that thinking about it is a valuable part of that process. And it's okay to make space for that and to kind of wait until you get to that tipping point, that natural point for you to come out. Doesn't mean that we always feel completely ready. I didn't feel completely ready to do this, but I knew that I could. So it wasn't scary. And that for me is the moment when I know, okay, I can go and I can do this. I'll be back soon. It's going pretty fast now. I'm going to take some fast steps because 3 weeks left and I don't work that many hours a day. I work maximum 24 hours a week on my business. So I have to be real picky about where I put my time and energy. So I'm going to share with you what I'm going to do next in the next video. All right. Thank you and see you soon.